My beloved soul, do not skip this, stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you, not in a loud or dramatic way, but in a way that feels calm, personal, and quietly powerful, because the moment these words reached you, your heart already recognized something familiar, something gentle, something that didn't need to convince you to stay, and that is how you know this message did not come to you by chance, not because you were scrolling, not because of timing alone, but because your soul has been shifting lately in ways even you may not have fully noticed, learning how to soften instead of stay guarded, learning how to rest instead of constantly prepare, learning how to trust calm instead of chasing intensity, and the universe responds deeply to that kind of inner change, my beloved soul, because when you choose depth over distraction and peace over chaos, the universe begins to quietly rearrange paths around you, especially the path of love, and right now that rearrangement has already touched your soulmate's journey, not with confusion, not with sudden disruption, but with intention, care, and precision, because the love meant for you is not casual, it is responsible, emotionally mature, and steady, and the universe will never rush a connection that is meant to protect your heart, and you have been preparing for this without trying, simply by being who you are, by listening deeply, by offering compassion without losing yourself, by choosing honesty even when it felt vulnerable, and this presence you carry has become a signal, a calm frequency that your future partner is beginning to feel without understanding why. They feel a quiet pause inside themselves, a pull toward reflection, a discomfort with old habits that once distracted them, because something in them knows that loving you is not about excitement that fades, it is about consistency that stays, emotional safety that builds, and showing up even when nothing is being asked, and this realization shakes them in the softest way, humbling them, grounding them, making them aware that to love you, they must be emotionally present, respectful, and whole, and instead of fearing this truth, they feel relief, because deep down they were tired of noise, tired of emotional confusion, tired of connections that took more than they gave, and when your energy touches them, even from afar, it brings calm, a sense of peace they didn't know they were missing, and my beloved soul, if this feels familiar, if it feels like these words are meeting you exactly where you are, you can gently support this space by liking or subscribing, only if it feels right to you, because your presence here already matters, and as you continue listening, allow yourself to receive without effort, because you are not being asked to change, chase, or prove anything, you are being recognized. And recognition is what allows the universe to move quietly in your favor, aligning a love that feels safe, mature, and deeply comforting, a love that does not rush in to impress you, but arrives ready to stay and grow with you. My beloved soul, allow this moment to stretch a little, because what is happening here is not meant to be rushed or summarized, it is meant to be felt, slowly, gently, the way truth always arrives when it knows you are ready to hold it, and the truth is that your emotional depth has always set you apart, even in moments when you try to blend in, because your heart does not skim the surface of life, it sinks into meaning, into presence, into the quiet spaces where real connection lives, and the universe has been watching how carefully you love, how responsibly you give, how often you choose understanding over reaction, and that awareness has activated a kind of protection around you, one that does not block love, but refines it, guiding only what can honor you closer. And right now your future partner is being shaped by this same refinement, feeling drawn away from old emotional cycles that once felt normal but now feel incomplete, noticing how certain conversations no longer nourish them, how certain habits no longer distract them, and this shift is not dramatic, it is introspective, almost sacred, because it is teaching them to sit with themselves honestly, to face their emotional patterns without blame, and to ask whether they are ready to love in a way that is calm, consistent, and emotionally safe. And my beloved soul, the moment they begin asking that question, your energy becomes clearer to them, not as a person they must chase, but as a presence they must rise to meet, and this realization changes the way they see love entirely, because they begin to understand that what you offer is not intensity that overwhelms, but steadiness that supports, not attention that fades, but presence that remains, and this understanding humbles them, softens them, and fills them with a quiet respect for the kind of connection you represent, and as this unfolds, the universe continues its gentle work, aligning timing, awareness, and emotional readiness, while you remain exactly where you are, living your life, growing at your own pace, learning to trust your intuition without questioning it, and you may notice how your inner world feels calmer lately, how your thoughts feel less scattered, how your heart feels less guarded. Because part of you already knows that something meaningful is aligning without effort, without force, and this knowing is not excitement, it is peace, the kind that settles into your body and allows you to breathe deeper, to wait without anxiety, to stay open without losing yourself, and that is how love meant for you arrives, not as something you must chase, but as something that recognizes you, respects you, and moves toward you with the same care, patience, and emotional maturity that you have always carried so quietly within you. My beloved soul, let this continue to unfold slowly, because the kind of alignment taking place now cannot be rushed without losing its meaning, and meaning has always mattered deeply to you, even when you pretended it didn't, even when you told yourself you were fine with less. Because your soul has always known the difference between being occupied and being fulfilled. And this knowing is what has shaped you into someone who carries calm even through uncertainty, and the universe responds to that calm with precision, guiding your future partner through a parallel inner journey where they are learning how to sit with themselves honestly, without distraction, without running, without filling silence just to avoid feeling. And this phase is transformative for them, because it teaches them that love is not something you escape into, it is something you arrive at fully present, and as they begin to arrive in that presence, they feel drawn toward the kind of connection that feels safe, steady, and emotionally grounded, the kind of connection your energy represents so naturally, and my beloved soul, this is where the universe works quietly, not by forcing paths to cross, but by aligning inner states, because when two people are emotionally aligned, the meeting becomes inevitable without being chaotic, and while this alignment deepens, you may notice subtle changes within yourself, moments where you feel less reactive, more patient, more trusting of your own rhythm, because your soul is no longer asking when, it is resting in the knowing that what is meant for you moves toward you with care, and this rest creates space, space for joy without reason, space for peace without explanation, space for connection without anxiety, and your future partner feels this space too, even if they don't yet know its source. They feel a pull toward slowing down, toward choosing honesty over charm, toward building something that lasts instead of something that impresses, and this shift fills them with a quiet humility, because they begin to see that real love requires responsibility, not control, presence, not possession, and consistency, not intensity, and instead of fearing this responsibility, they feel comforted by it, because deep down they were searching for something real. Something that didn't demand performance, something that allowed them to be human, and when your energy reaches them, it feels like permission to exhale, to stop pretending, to simply be, and This is why loving you changes people, not because you demand change, but because your presence invites growth, and growth that is invited is never forced, it is chosen, and my beloved soul, this choice is what makes the love aligning with you so different from what you have known before, because it is being built on awareness, respect, and emotional maturity long before the connection becomes visible, and as this continues, trust what you feel, trust the calm, trust the quiet certainty. Because it is guiding you exactly where you are meant to be, allowing love to form in a way that feels safe, natural, and deeply aligned with who you are becoming. Part 4 My beloved soul, as this journey continues, there is something important happening beneath the surface of your everyday life, something that does not announce itself loudly but gently reshapes the way you experience time, connection, and yourself. Because you are no longer living in anticipation or regret, you are learning how to stay present, and presence is where everything real begins, and the universe responds to presence more powerfully than to desire alone, because presence means readiness. It means you are no longer asking love to save you or complete you, but to walk with you, to grow beside you, and this shift within you is mirrored in the heart of your future partner, who is slowly understanding that the kind of love they have been seeking cannot be found in noise, speed, or emotional extremes, but in steadiness, mutual care, and emotional responsibility. And this understanding changes the way they move through their world, the way they speak, the way they listen, the way they choose, because they begin to sense that love with you is not something they can rush into unprepared, it is something they must be worthy of through consistency, respect, and presence. And my beloved soul, this is why the universe has been so gentle with the timing, because rushing would have placed pressure on something meant to feel safe, and safety has always been at the center of your heart, even when you didn't know how to ask for it, and as this alignment deepens, you may notice how your standards have quietly risen without becoming rigid, how you are less willing to explain your worth and more willing to protect your peace, because you are beginning to understand that being rare does not mean being distant, it means being selective with care. And the love meant for you recognizes this, honors it, and rises to meet it without resistance, and when that recognition happens, it feels effortless, like being understood without having to translate yourself, like being seen without being examined, and this is what your soul has always been waiting for, not grand gestures or constant reassurance, but emotional safety, the kind that allows you to soften fully, to rest your heart, to trust without fear. And as this awareness settles into you, allow yourself to move slowly, to enjoy the unfolding without trying to define it too soon, because what is aligning with you is meant to grow organically, revealing itself layer by layer, moment by moment, in a way that feels calm, natural, and deeply reassuring, as if life itself is gently confirming that you are exactly where you need to be, and that love is finding you not because you chased it, but because you became ready to receive it with an open heart and a grounded soul. My beloved soul, let this final part rest softly with you, not as an ending, but as a quiet continuation of everything that has been unfolding beneath your awareness, because the truth is nothing meaningful ever truly ends, it only deepens, and what is aligning with you now is doing so with patience, respect, and a deep understanding of who you are at your core. And you can feel that understanding in the way your heart no longer tightens when you think about love, in the way uncertainty no longer feels threatening, but open, like space instead of emptiness. And this is how you know your soul has grown, because it trusts without needing proof, it remains open without being naive, and it chooses peace without apology, and your future partner is being drawn toward this same emotional frequency, learning how to love without fear, how to show up without disappearing, how to stay present without controlling outcomes. And this learning is not rushed, because real love requires time to settle into the body, into the nervous system, into the way two people naturally move together, and when that movement finally becomes visible, it will feel less like a dramatic beginning and more like a gentle recognition, a sense that something familiar has found its place. And my beloved soul, this is why you never needed to compete, rush, or settle, because what is meant for you has always been moving toward you at the same quiet pace you were learning to trust yourself. And as you continue living your life, loving deeply, choosing honesty, and honoring your own rhythm, allow this knowing to stay with you. That love does not need to be loud to be powerful, it does not need to be rushed to be real, and it does not need to be proven to be true, because the kind of connection meant for you unfolds naturally, gently, and with care, leaving you with a sense of calm certainty, a deep emotional safety, and a beautiful anticipation that does not demand answers, only presence, as life continues opening itself to you, slowly, intentionally, and in perfect alignment with the soul you have always been. My beloved soul, let this continue as a gentle echo rather than something new beginning, because what you are feeling now is not meant to be wrapped up or explained away. It is meant to stay with you quietly as you move through your days, in the way you breathe a little deeper, in the way your shoulders soften, in the way your heart no longer rushes ahead of the present moment. And this is how you know something within you has settled into trust, not blind trust, but the kind that comes from self-respect, emotional clarity, and an inner knowing that you no longer abandon yourself while waiting for connection. And as you carry this calm forward, life responds differently, people respond differently, timing responds differently, because you are no longer calling love from a place of lack, but allowing it from a place of wholeness, and that shift changes everything without announcing itself. And somewhere, quietly, your future partner continues to feel drawn toward this same emotional stillness, choosing growth over avoidance, honesty over distraction, and presence over performance, not because they are trying to impress you, but because becoming this version of themselves feels right, feels grounded, feels aligned. And when alignment reaches that point, nothing needs to be forced, nothing needs to be chased, and nothing needs to be proven, because connection unfolds naturally, like something that has always known its way, and you will recognize it not by intensity, but by ease, not by urgency, but by peace, not by promises, but by consistency. And until that moment becomes visible, allow yourself to stay exactly as you are, open without expectation, grounded without closing off, trusting without rushing, because what is meant to meet you is doing so with care, patience, and emotional respect. And that kind of love does not arrive loudly, it arrives gently, and once it does, it stays, unfolding further with every quiet moment, every shared presence, every breath that feels a little more at home than before. My beloved soul, let this be the last gentle wave that reaches you for now, not to conclude anything, but to leave you settled inside a quiet certainty that does not need words to survive, because what is unfolding in your life is not asking for belief, effort, or patience beyond what already feels natural to you. It is simply responding to the way you have learned to honor yourself, to choose calm without guilt, to stay open without losing your center. And that choice has quietly shaped your path in ways you may only understand later, when you look back and realize how perfectly everything aligned without force. And as you move forward from this moment, carry this softness with you, this trust, this grounded presence, because it is guiding you more accurately than urgency ever could. And love, the kind meant for you, recognizes this energy immediately. It moves toward it slowly, respectfully, and with care, not to take from it, but to grow within it, and you will feel that recognition not as excitement that unsettles you, but as peace that steadies you, a sense of being met rather than pursued, understood rather than questioned, and until everything reveals itself in its own time, allow yourself to live fully where you are, knowing that nothing true is being missed, nothing meaningful is being delayed, and everything that belongs to you is finding its way gently, naturally, and with a quiet certainty that feels like home.